Macaulay Culkin's story begins not in the glittering sound stages of Hollywood, but in the gritty, unforgiving concrete maze of Manhattan's Upper East Side, where dreams and desperation dance an intricate waltz on every street corner. Born on August 26, 1980, in New York City, he entered a world where the proximity to Broadway's bright lights and film sets would shape his destiny in ways that few could have imagined at the time. The third child in what would become a family of 7 siblings, Macaulay grew up in a cramped Yorkville apartment where performance wasn't merely encouraged, it was the family's economic lifeline and survival strategy. His father, Christopher "Kit" Culkin, was a man haunted by his own thwarted ambitions. A former Broadway actor whose career had stalled in the chorus lines and bit parts, Kit possessed an intimate knowledge of New York's theatrical ecosystem that would prove invaluable to his children's futures. Kit understood the Byzantine network of casting directors, talent agents, and industry gatekeepers who held the keys to success in entertainment. More importantly, he recognized early that his children possessed something he had lacked, the ineffable quality that transforms mere talent into stardom. Patricia Brentrup, though never legally married to Kit, served as the family's emotional anchor and practical foundation. While Kit schemed and networked, Patricia ensured the bills were paid, the children were fed, and some semblance of normalcy persisted in their chaotic household. The Culkin apartment became a launching pad for multiple careers, a factory of sorts where childhood innocence was systematically converted into professional experience. Several of Macaulay's siblings would eventually follow him into acting, most notably Kieran, who would later achieve critical acclaim in films like Digby Goes Down and the HBO series Succession. The family dynamics were complex and often strained, with competition for parental attention and professional opportunities creating underlying tensions that would later explode into public legal battles. The geography of Macaulay's upbringing was crucial to his development as a performer. Manhattan in the 1980s was a cultural crucible where high art and commercial entertainment intersected daily. Growing up blocks away from Broadway theaters meant constant exposure to the city's cultural machinery, the casting offices, rehearsal studios, and audition rooms that formed the infrastructure of American entertainment. This wasn't the sanitized version of child stardom that emerges from suburban acting classes and community theater, this was the raw, unfiltered reality of New York's entertainment industry, where talent competed with necessity and opportunity arrived unannounced and often unwelcome, the theatrical apprenticeship, learning the craft. At the remarkably young age of 4, Macaulay began his professional career on the stage, appearing in local off-Broadway productions. That served as his informal acting academy. These early theatrical experiences were formative in ways that would become apparent only years later, instilling in him the discipline, timing, and professional demeanor that would distinguish him from other child actors. The theater demanded precision, hitting marks, projecting voice, maintaining character consistency across multiple performances, skills that would translate seamlessly to film work. His training extended beyond acting to include intensive study at the prestigious School of American Ballet, where George Balanchine's rigorous methodology taught him physical control and grace that would later enhance his comedic performances. The discipline required for ballet, the endless repetition, the attention to minute details of posture and movement, the ability to perform under scrutiny, provided excellent preparation for the demands of film acting. Additionally, he appeared in numerous television commercials, learning to convey complex emotions and selling points in 30-second segments, a skill that would prove invaluable when delivering comedic beats in feature films. The transition from stage to screen came naturally, facilitated by his growing reputation within New York's tight-knit entertainment community. In 1988, at age 8, he made his feature film debut in Rocket Gibraltar, appearing alongside veteran actor Burt Lancaster. Though his role was small, playing Cy Blue Black, the grandson of Lancaster's patriarch character, the experience introduced him to the rhythms and protocols of film production. He learned about call times and costume fittings, about the collaborative nature of filmmaking and the importance of hitting marks for camera angles. The Uncle Buck breakthrough, comedy gold discovered. The pivotal moment in Macaulay's early career arrived in 1989 with John Hughes' Uncle Buck, a family comedy that would prove to be both a launching pad for his stardom and a masterclass in comedic timing. Hughes, Already established as the premier chronicler of American suburban life through films like 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club, was seeking a child actor who could hold his own against the considerable comedic presence of John Candy. The famous mail slot interrogation scene, where young Miles Russell, Macaulay's character, grills Buck through the front door, became an instant classic of child acting. The scene required impeccable timing, knowing when to pause for laughs, when to accelerate the pace, when to underplay for maximum effect. Macaulay's performance demonstrated that he possessed not just natural charm, but genuine comedic instincts that couldn't be taught. The rapid-fire delivery, the perfectly timed facial expressions, and the underlying intelligence that made Miles more than just a precocious kid, all of these elements announced the arrival of a genuinely gifted performer, John Candy, a veteran comedian known for his generosity toward fellow performers. Immediately recognized Macaulay's talent and became something of a mentor figure. Their chemistry was evident on screen, and their professional relationship would continue in Home Alone, where Candy would make a memorable cameo appearance as Gus Polinski, the polka king of the Midwest. For Macaulay, working with Candy provided an education in the subtleties of comedic performance, learning when to hold back, when to push forward, and how to find the emotional truth within seemingly silly situations. Home Alone, the cultural phenomenon. When Chris Columbus was approached to direct Home Alone in 1990, he faced the daunting task of finding a child actor capable of carrying an entire film. The script, penned by John Hughes, required a young performer who could convincingly portray independence, resourcefulness, vulnerability, and mischief, often within the same scene. Columbus auditioned over 200 potential actors for the lead role of Kevin McCallister, initially skeptical about whether any child could handle the demands of such a complex character. Macaulay was actually the first child Columbus auditioned, but the director's reservations weren't immediately assuaged. It wasn't until the callback auditions that Macaulay's true capabilities became apparent. He arrived having memorized not just his lines, but entire scenes, demonstrating the kind of preparation and professionalism that was unusual even among adult actors. More importantly, he understood the character's emotional journey, from initial excitement about being alone, through growing loneliness and fear, to ultimate triumph and family reconciliation. Home Alone became a cultural phenomenon that transcended typical box office success. Grossing over $476 million worldwide against a modest $18 million budget, it became one of the highest-grossing comedies in film history. But the film's impact extended far beyond financial metrics. Macaulay's portrayal of Kevin McCallister created an archetypal character that would influence depictions of childhood in popular culture for decades. The genius of his performance lay in its emotional authenticity. While the film's premise, a child accidentally left behind during family vacation, was purely fantastical, Macaulay imbued Kevin with genuine feelings that audiences could recognize and relate to. His initial delight at having the house to himself felt real because it captured every child's secret fantasy of complete freedom. His loneliness and fear when faced with actual danger resonated because it reflected the vulnerability that lies beneath childhood bravado. And his ultimate longing for family connection provided the emotional core that elevated the film above mere slapstick comedy. The iconic image of Kevin with his hands pressed to his cheeks, mouth agape in surprise, became one of the most recognizable images in popular culture. This moment, captured when Kevin discovers he has successfully applied aftershave, demonstrated Macaulay's instinctive understanding of physical comedy. The expression was simultaneously shocked, delighted, and slightly pained, a complex emotional cocktail delivered through pure physical performance. The expanding universe, My Girl and dramatic range. Following the astronomical success of Home Alone, Macaulay could have easily been typecast in similar comedic roles. Instead, he and his representatives made the strategic decision to explore dramatic territory with My Girl, 1991, a coming-of-age story that would test his range as an actor. Directed by Howard Zieff and co-starring Anna Chlumsky, the film represented a significant departure from the physical comedy that had made him famous. In My Girl, Macaulay portrayed Thomas J. Sennett, a boy allergic to virtually everything, whose friendship with Veda Sultanfuss, Chlumsky, forms the emotional centerpiece of the film. The role required him to navigate complex emotional terrain, first love, friendship, mortality, and loss, while maintaining the natural charm that had made him a star. His performance demonstrated that his appeal wasn't limited to comedic situations, he could handle pathos and vulnerability with equal skill. The film's climactic scene, involving Thomas J.'s tragic death from a bee sting, became one of the most emotionally devastating moments in 1990s family cinema. Macaulay's absence from this crucial scene, he appears only in flashbacks after the death, paradoxically heightened its emotional impact. His previous scenes with Klumsky had established such a believable friendship that audiences felt genuine grief at the character's loss. The performance earned him MTV Movie Award nominations and critical recognition for his dramatic abilities.